A couple days before the video was actually done and in the post-production and edited and everything, we got struck by the news that NASA actually discovered a bunch of new planets, and the timing for that was just ridiculous.
Actually, to save some time, we only did one of these tentacles, and then we made it possible to change the top.
There's a great beauty in how tight-knit we have become as a group over the years, making music videos together, where I can write a fairly simple one-page treatment and send the ugliest sketches in the history of mankind to Johan, and Johan then comes back with a full storyboard, script, and just an idea from the perspective of a director and photographer and everything else he does that really mirrors pretty much exactly what I had in mind.
I immediately felt that this is going to be one of our greatest videos yet. Mainly because I personally love old sci-fi, especially from around the 60s, when they were all bright and kind of campy. And there actually is one director from this era that stands out a little bit more when it comes to my inspiration for Newland, and that's the Czech director Karel Zeman.
Zachvátil je neklid, tuší katastrofu. Pravděpodobně se srazíme s jiným nebeským tělesem.
A co se stane s námi?
Bez pochyby zahyneme.
Bude konec světa!
I have a twofold fascination and love for science fiction. First, you got the lasers going bang and the spaceship going boom and the cool aliens. And then, secondly, science fiction has always been used as a way to tell a story about how we are doing right now and saying something about the human nature. It's always very philosophical. My favorite example would be RoboCop, that on the surface is a badass action movie. And then asking questions about authority, about media, about violence for that matter, is very primal and very deep at the same time, and that is science fiction at its best.
We met up with this guy Anders, who did the masks for Night Never Ending, and we introduced him to the idea of what we were about to do. And he absolutely loved it. He is the one who actually built the film set. He's the one who did all the paintings that are the backgrounds. He's also the one who designed the space rockets. He's been doing the space helmets, everything, all of it he done. Without him, we could have probably never done what we actually ended up doing.
Ja. Tagning. We did most of the special effects practically. Like the space monster we did with stop motion. And that was one thing I never tried out before, but I always kind of wanted to do, because I love the old films that contains monsters that are done with stop motion, like Jason and the Argonauts, of course old King Kong, all the way up to the first Terminator movie. So for one entire week I set up an animation studio right here at home in my kitchen. And it was a bit of trial and error too, because I had never done it before. So getting all the movements and everything the way I wanted actually took a lot more time than I first expected. And while I had the green screen set up in my kitchen, I let my cats do a cameo in the video. When it came to the overall look and coloring of the new planet, I went to my record collection and got inspired by one of my favorite album covers of all time. And when it came to the overall story, the whole tone of it is actually a little bit inspired by Andreas Polarexpedition. 3 Swedish guys set out to explore the Antarctic in a hot air balloon. But the problem with everything was that they prioritized the strangest and absolutely wrong things. They were super picky about their outfits being very high fashion, but they didn't even mind to try out the air balloon before they set off. And when they arrived, of course, the balloon crashed, and they brought all this weird stuff, like this entire band of encyclopedias and really expensive liquor. A lot of the things in the video is really inspired by that. For example, when they stop at the moon for a coffee break, they have this cart and this really nice fancy coffee cups and everything that just makes no sense of bringing to an outer space expedition like this.
We had already in the beginning decided to not make the music videos of the album to be literal, and instead each music video has been some kind of interpretation as the song as it is in and out of itself. So for New Land, it's in the title, the new land, the exploration, the traveling into something unknown.
And to be sure that everything came across and the flow of the story and everything was perfect, I did an animated, if you can call it that, storyboard.
I take great pride in the fact that with each music video we have been able to step up our game one way or another. For New Land, it's been, of course, the stuff you get to see, the special effects, the set pieces, everything that is built that is better than ever. And on top of that, also the acting, and with that comes the attention to details. Like we had a sword fighting coach this time for me and Tim, and even though it's just a few seconds of it, it was still important to make sure that it looked right.